It's easy to make homemade feed for your plants, and in this video I'll show you how. I'm Zorab and this is Byther Farm. It is quite late in the year to be making comfrey tea, but before this comfrey all dies down, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But rather than me showing you what I'm doing, I've asked Terry from Terry King's allotment garden to show you how he uses comfrey to make plant food and a plant food concentrate. Terry's channel is absolutely brilliant. He has an amazing allotment, so I'm really pleased that he's agreed to share some of his wisdom with us today.
Yeah, thank you Liz, and welcome to my channel, Terry King's Allotment Gardening on a Budget. And I like to make all my homemade liquid plant foods, including some rhubarb leaves for the spray, nitrogen, nettle, manure, and we've got banana as a potassium, and then we've got the activators, coffee grounds, perennial weeds. I've got a bin for the perennial weeds, we rot them down, compost bin runoff, urine, and fish poo from the filters, and of course the most important plant food is rainwater. Absolutely important. So we've got, today I'm going to be looking at the comfrey, which is steeped, which is you put the comfrey leaves into water and leave them for however long you want, 3 to 4 weeks, but mine end up left in there for months. And then we've got the comfrey concentrate. So the steeped is at 1 to 10, so 1 part of this to 10 water, and the concentrate, which we put into a pipe, I'll show you shortly, needs to be 1 part of this to 20 water, because there's no added water like there is here. So first of all I'll just show you my comfrey, and then we'll move on to the comfrey pipe, and then where I actually steep my comfrey leaves. We're November at the moment. This should have been done months ago, but like everything else, other things take priority. So with comfrey, it comes back in spring. This is started to die off now, and we might take 3 or 4 lots, cut it down, put it in the bin and let it grow back. I try and alternate it between the 2 crowns so that the bees have always got somewhere to find their food.
The comfrey that I use is a variety called Bocking 14, and the seeds are sterile, so it doesn't disperse itself all over the garden. And because the roots are so deep, if you use a variety that will seed itself everywhere, it's a devil of a job to get it back out once it's rooted itself somewhere. So this variety is propagated by root cuttings.
So this is being left now, but what we collected over the summer months has gone into this bin, and it's been there since the start of the season. I'm not going to disturb it, because when you steep comfrey in water it smells really bad, and whatever you do, do not get it on your skin, because you cannot get it off, as I found out doing a previous video. So my little setup, in the past I've had some IBCs broken at the top, so I've cut them in half and used the tap, etc. But they're now being used as my manure runoff, which you can see in the other video. There's a brick in the bottom of there just to keep it off the floor, and I use a wire waste paper basket you find in an office or at home. Yes, good gloves, a strong nose, and that basket then filters out everything that we don't want. And with it going into a watering can, and if you use a rose, then it saves it getting blocked up. But this material, even if you sieve it, it will block your roses up, so most people maybe let it settle first. That's how I get my steeped. Nothing goes to waste. All the thick material will be put in the compost bin. That way it can break down and add the rest of the nutrients to the rest of the compost, and then any runoff is collected at the bottom. It's sloped and lined. This galvanised tank has got a massive hole in it, so we've lined it, sealed it, and then we use that as an activator for all the wood chips.
I make my Comfrey feed in a rain butt that's got a tap on the bottom of it, and to stop that getting all clogged up with decaying matter, I've got an old cotton pillowcase, and I'm literally going to stuff that full of Comfrey leaves. So when I've filled my pillowcase enough, I simply tie the top with a bit of baling twine, and this ensures that the leaves don't come out of the pillowcase while they're breaking down. And then I just put this into my water butt and fill it up with rainwater that I've collected, and like any good tea, I just leave it to steep.
So the Comfrey concentrate. This is my setup. I haven't used it this year, so I've cheated a little bit with that bottle, but I've got a pipe which didn't cost me nothing, the wife's saucepan minus the handle, and then I've got one of these which fits perfectly in there to stop the solids coming through, and then all the liquid juices out the leaves drops down there, and that would go into one of the containers that I use. I've got a pulley system, so once the Comfrey's in there, I'll undo that. The concrete weight then will just sit down there, and then once that string gets to a certain point, I know I've got to top it up, but in here all we use is the leaves. So the leaves would be broken off there, and then these would be pushed in, and you do need a hell of a lot, and it does take some feeding. But if you've got a good supply of Comfrey, then that would help you. Now I've got this is buried in the ground really deep, because this Comfrey isn't the blocking 14, so it has escaped, or the seeds have set themselves, but it is easy to get out. But you must keep on top of that. You must make sure that the Comfrey you get is the sort that you want, and I'm lucky enough to have had some blocking 14 Comfrey sent me by one of my subscribers. We did a swap. This isn't to hold it in, because the seeds are sterile and the roots will just go down. The roots will go down and find all the nutrients that the wood chips we put on the ground, all the nutrients drop down, the manure and everything. Comfrey will go down and find it and bring it back to the surface, and we gather the leaves. So this is now ready, maybe in the spring when this establishes itself, to get this planted up, bring it up a bit, and this will be a nice little area for that to grow.
And if you're in the UK and you'd like some root cuttings of blocking 14, I'll leave a link in the video description to where you can get that from.
So where do I use my Comfrey? Well, this is my gravity fed rainwater guttering system, wick guttering system. So there's wicks in all these pots sitting on top of the guttering, and because we water from the bottom, then we need to feed from the top. So I add the Comfrey to the likes of tomatoes, some of the peppers, my strawberries, my raspberries, and other things that fruit, and it gets done as the flower heads start to set or develop, and that just gives them that bit of a boost to provide us with some lovely fruit. And tomatoes are a fruit as well, so yeah, mainly fruiting crops. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight to sorting out your comfrey. As you can see, I've got quite a large operation, and it's nice to have stuff that's for free. So thank you very much for joining me. And what are you up to now, Liz?
The rainwater that I'm using is in an open top container and has got lots of duckweed in it, but I'm not worried about that. I'm going to put that in as well. That will also break down, and because it's got the lid on it, the duckweed won't continue to grow. And if you haven't found Terry's channel before now, I do encourage you to go over and have a look. I'll leave a link in the video description and also on the screen. And so wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one. And I also hope you'll join me again next time.